What's up? What's up? What's up? My Facebook family. I hope everybody is doing well. Hope everybody is doing well. I got my other phone in my hand, and what I'm doing is I'm sharing it. So as we all have a few moments to come in here and get ready and get prepared, I need everybody to go ahead and press that share button as we are getting ready to have our Saturday Leaders Are Readers Book Club. Last week, you know what? Let me not just tell you. Let me do it myself. We're bam. We're live. We're good to go. We're good to go. Last week, we had over 2,000 people joining us for our Readers Book Club, and I'm so excited about that. The fact that we're not just the young leaders community is not just a community of individuals who is just trying to shout and to do church, but we're young leaders who read for real, for real. Of course, you know that we read our word, but we are also reading perfect. We are also reading other books that can be resources to us to help us advance in everything that we do. In everything that we do. Let me turn this down here so that you guys don't keep hearing the dinging the whole time that I'm on here. Before we go any further, I do want to just pause for a hot second and tell the leader, the founder, the presider of the Young Leaders Conference, my brother and friend, Elder Mark Moore Jr. Thank you so much for this platform. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And thank you for your heart, not just to have us on here having a bunch of good shout clips, but we're also doing some edifying in our reading and our understanding as well. I think, as she said, I'm excited, books. I think that we're ready to go. Last week, we dealt with chapters number 4 through, last week we dealt with chapters 1 through 3. Let me get this here. We dealt with chapters 1 through 3. This week, we're going to deal with chapters 4 through 6. So you press the share button, thank you. But I want to know where you're tuning in from. I want to know where you're tuning in from. Our home base for YLC is Atlanta, Georgia. But I am currently in the wonderful spot, the wonderful place of Columbus, Ohio. Go Bucks. We got Baltimore in the building. My brother and friend Marvin James, you're going to hear from him in a little bit. He's going to be coming on live and discussing chapter 5 with us. Let's see who else we got on here. Let me know where you're coming in from. My sister Kristen, what's up? She says she's excited about this community. We're excited to have you as well. We're excited to have you as well. Texas is in the building. They do it big. We got and we got Greenville, Texas as well. New York is in the house. New York is one of my favorite places. New York is one of my favorite places. When this pandemic is over, I'm coming. I'm coming to Brooklyn. ATL is in the building. Awesome. Let's do this. I believe we're in 2 locations right now. So we got our Facebook location and we have our YouTube location. We discussed chapters 1 through 3. Illinois is in the building. What's up? My mother lives in St. Louis, so we cross the bridge every real often. We got DC. Wow, this is awesome. Listen, so do me a favor and press the share button as we get ready to dive into our book, The Happiness of Pursuit. How many of you on here actually have the book and have started reading it? Let me know. Let's just do the hand emoji. We know that we do that for our Quarantine Got Talent. We welcome everybody with the hand. Delaware's in the building. What's up? We do the hand clapping. But if you actually have the book, we international. I saw Canada on there. We're international. The book club has gone international. We got Canada in the building. If you have actually purchased the book, just raise your hand for me. Perfect. Bam. Adelia. Bam. Miss Newman. Bam. Perfect. Okay. Great. This is awesome. If you have not got the book yet, you're still good. I want you to tune in because the principles that we're going to be discussing are going to be life-changing. So if you have not got the book yet, that's fine. Hopefully, our discussion today is so amazing that you're going to want to go and pick up the book. I just saw somebody from the YouTube location. I'm not sure we can put that comment back up, but I could. Yes, YouTube, our YouTube location. We're in the building as well. So we're getting ready to get started. Once again, thank you so much to our Explore YLC Young Leaders Conference family. Thank you so much to my brother and friend Mark Moore Jr. for this opportunity. With all of that said, let's get ready to roll. We're about to get into chapter number 4. I'm going to ask the media team to bring on my sister. Last week, it was all brothers on here talking. But this week, ladies, you are represented. Ladies, you are represented. What's up, sis?
Hey, how are you?
I'm amazing. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm excited. I'm a bookworm. So, yeah, this is my lane.
Listen, right when we announced that we were going to be doing our book club, I believe that you were one of the first individuals that was like, count me in. Count me in. Put
That
my
sounds
name
about right.
on the dotted line. I want to be there. Before we even get to our book, when did your love for books and reading, when did that start?
I think elementary school.
Okay.
Elementary school, because I was a social butterfly, kind of like introverted but extroverted. And so, yeah, when I didn't feel like being bothered, I got lost in my books.
Okay. Cool. Well, we're getting ready to get into chapter number 4. But before we do that, one more time, I need everybody to share. It'd be great if we have more readers with us on this week than we had last week. That would be amazing. Right. So let's get into chapter number 4, defining moments. I have some notes here, but I want to pass it over to you first, and you kind of just give me your overview of chapter number 4. Give me some of your thoughts, and let's just start the conversation. So, defining moments. What stood out to you within this particular chapter?
I know we talked about last time, like what type of readers we are. So of course I got like sticky notes and highlights and all types of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But one of my highlights that stood out to me was it was on page 94 when it was the hospice worker, when she particularly talked about at the end of our lives, people are incapable of BS. And
what page did you say?
That was page 94.
Oh, so you went beyond chapter 4. You went all the way to chapter 6.
Wait, was that in chapter 6?
Yeah, 94. You know what? Are you reading on like a Kindle, or do you have the actual physical paper?
No, I have an Apple book.
Okay, so that's why it's different. That's why it's different.
Oh, okay.
So you're talking about towards the end, because really, let's pause here. Chapter 4 is dealing with really understanding that we're not going to be here forever, right?
Right, pretty much.
Let's kind of, since my page numbers are different than yours, let's just kind of walk beginning to end, and that way, no matter what page we're on, we're still on the same page as we know what we're talking about. Is that cool?
That's cool.
Now, we're not going to do this if these numbers don't look how I know they could be looking. So I need everybody that has shared to stay on and hang out with us. So it starts off with the story of Adam and Megan.
Yes.
Do you want to tell them about Adam and Megan? You want to give them the backdrop on those two?
All right. So the backdrop on Adam and Megan is that they met, they fell in love, but it was a situation where, unfortunately, while they were in love, Megan got sick, and she got a terminal illness, cancer. Mm-hmm. And so she had this list of things that she wanted to do, and even being sick, she still pressed through like all the way to the end to do everything that she wanted to do. And if anything, her having a diagnosis or terminal diagnosis of cancer made her just push, even more. And that encouraged her husband to also push and just do the things that time say that they didn't have. So they took advantage of the time.
And even as before we go in there, I want you guys to focus on the book. That's my fault. Somebody asked what book we're reviewing. The Happiness of Pursuit. Not the Pursuit of Happiness. There's a difference. I have people reach out to me like, man, I love that book. No, we are not reading The Pursuit of Happiness. We are reading The Happiness of Pursuit. Finding quest that will bring purpose to your life. And in chapter 6, we're going to kind of go over again what a quest is. But I like that because in the story of Adam and Megan, it really brings up the point that we do not live forever, right?
Right.
And we have to take advantage of now. Let me ask the comment section first. I'm going to ask the comment section first. And then I'm going to ask you, as young people, do you think the fact that we think we have forever and we have all this time, do you feel like that sometimes hinders us in our passion or our drive to go after some of our goals because we feel like we have more time? So, comment question, do you feel like we don't think about death enough? And she said, I did not enjoy chapter 4. It was hard to turn off my spiritual mind to get the points they were trying to make. That story with the bird lady made me. We're gonna talk about the bird lady because I think she was tripping. But let's deal with Adam and Megan.
Yeah, let's talk about that bird lady.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the bird lady, but let's discuss Adam and Megan first. Do you think that sometimes being young and feeling like we have the rest of our life ahead of us, that is in some ways a hindrance, or sometimes it causes us to think that we have more time than we actually do? Because once again, in chapter 4, the biggest point he's trying to make is that, man, you got to live because tomorrow really is not promised. So, sis, what do you think about that?
I think it's a catch-22. I think when you feel like you got all the time in the world, then you do things a bit more risky. You take more risks. But when you recognize that you don't have all the time in the world, it really puts your life in perspective, and it makes you start moving on things that you may have been sitting on for a while. So I think it's like a catch-22. But to his point, I mean, at any given moment, like he said, I won't give the page number, but he mentioned that any given moment can change your life.
Yep. And I think it's even looking at what happens in our life always through a positive perspective. Yeah. Because even in the death of Megan, her husband Adam still had a positive perspective that I'm not going to take her death and just sit back and sit down and wallow in everything that's happened to me, but I'm going to use it to but to go after the goals that she has set. And that's one of the continued themes throughout this book, is that a quest has a challenge, right? Right. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be, a bed of roses all the time. And if we're going to be successful in our quest, us that really come from a faith-based background, that come in our walk towards destiny or our walk towards, purpose, it's not always going to be easy. And we have to have the positive mindset that no matter what challenge I face, I'm coming out of this better. You feel me?
Right. Yes. I totally agree.
I like what Adam said. It's page 57 for me. Since you got the iBook, I don't know what page it is for you. I see some new friends coming in here. We got Ohio in the building. Maria, my sister from Canton, and my brother Ronald from Cleveland has hopped in. Press the share button, y'all. I'm putting you on the spot. Please press the share button. Awesome. Chapter 57, page 57, she says this. He says, I think Megan unintentionally chose goals that would make anyone a better version of themselves. I feel like I grow another notch. And I like that because on our quest and on our journey, we have to understand that completing that journey or completing that task is not the only goal. But there's other goals that are incremental, that are small on the process to that one big goal. And the fact is that I don't improve once I reach the completion of this quest. I grow and I mature each step on the way to completing this journey. How do you feel about that?
I think that's the point. It's the journey that grows you. It's the journey. When you think about tell me his name one more time. When you think about
Adam,
Megan and Adam, when you think about Adam, he said that there were things that he was doing, and everything that he did made his life better. And so what it reminds me of is literally like a stepping stone. Like you move differently and beyond fear when you know you're not going to be here forever.
Yeah.
So so for him it was like his health improved, just things that he was doing, his whole overall life improved. And everybody sometimes see the end of the journey, but it's the in between that really makes the difference. So I totally agree with that.
Look, I'm going to read a few quotes here as it deals with understanding that we're not going to live forever. I want to read a few quotes from the book here. It says, this is the fact. All of us will someday die, yet not all of us live in a state of active awareness of this reality. I like that wording, the active awareness of this reality. In the words of the great Bob Dylan song, he not busy being born is busy dying. And perhaps some of us are busier than others. Further down it says, many of the people I talked to for this book seem to have an eerie awareness of the end of life. So I think it's balancing, not like you said, not operating in fear, not being too churchy, but God is not giving us a spirit of fear. So as believers, we don't look at death in a fearful manner. I hope that I'm living to where, I'm living to live again.
That's right.
I'm living. So death does not scare me. What death does is death gives me a timeline.
Yes.
That's good. Death should not scare the believer. What it does is it gives me a timeline to know that I'm not going to be here forever, so I have to operate in my gift, in my talent, in my ability. I have to do what I can while I'm here because I don't have forever. And if I keep on waiting, I may never. How many people? I don't know who's made this quote, but have you heard the quote before that said, "The wealthiest place in the world is the graveyard"?
Yes, I have.
And they say that because there's so many dreams and ideas and inventions and books and businesses that are in the grave because people thought they had more time. And there's really a push in this thing right here to say, no, we have to operate in the active awareness of this reality. And then it talks about intellectual awareness of mortality. I know that no one lives forever. The emotional awareness of mortality, I know that I will someday die. Once you start thinking about your own mortality, the small things just don't matter anymore.
Throw the book.
I can't throw it because I need it. But what do you think? What do you think about that sentence right there? Once you start thinking about your own mortality, the small things just don't matter anymore.
I think it puts things in perspective. The first thing that comes to mind for me is marriage. And does it really matter that he left his drawers on the floor? At the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like when you look at the bigger thing or the bigger picture, and once you start thinking about your own mortality, the small things don't matter anymore. What if that was your last moment, and your last moment was arguing what was on the floor, when you could have spent that last moment building something with them, or creating something with them, or producing something important with them? It puts it in perspective on what you're going to pick and choose, on what you're going to worry about.
There's a huge spirit of petty in our generation.
If I hear somebody say I'm the queen king of petty one more time.
No, and I think that our generation gets so caught up on the pettiness going on around us because we have no active awareness that, listen, one day, and it won't be long. You're going to look for me and I'm going to be gone. We don't have an active awareness that I'm not going to be here forever. So I have to spend, I like that, Marcus. I have to spend these moments wisely. I see some of our YLC community that's coming in here. I need your help, y'all. Leaders or readers, and also leaders, press the share button. That's what leaders do. So I'm going to ask everybody in here that has not already, help us spread the word and press the share button. Now, let's deal with the bird lady. I'm going to let you go first, but let's talk about the bird lady. I'm going to let you take it. Let's discuss the bird lady. I'm gonna let you. We're gonna talk about her.
So, Bird Lady. And this is a matter of experience and perspective, right?
Okay.
My issue with the Bird Lady, and I wrote down the question: what to do when focus changes to something that is unorthodox? Like your whole focus went off of your family, it went off of your children,
Right.
and for somebody else with a different perspective, it's like, woman, are you crazy?
Mm-hmm.
You put how much time into birding when you got a whole family over here? So you can't tell me that there wasn't some sort of absence there with her husband, with her children, with her family, because if you shift your focus from family to birding, I mean, to me it was just birding. Like, those birds are not coming to your funeral.
Listen, I need everybody. Is there a bird emoji? I need somebody to find a bird emoji and put it in the comment section. Because this bird lady, you bring up an amazing point, and I want to read this what I have underlined here that goes to your point of what happens when your focus shifts from. Thank you, Marvin. Man, like what in the world? This bird lady. When your focus shifts to something that is I don't got the right word right now. It says, as Phoebe spent more and more time in her study, by study they mean looking at birds, her family complained that she was spending so much time documenting the bird sightings that she had occurred on her journey that she may as well have been back in Africa. This relentless focus created its own set of problems later. So I think we need to talk about balance.
That's the word.
Comment section. I need everybody in the comment section to type the word balance. Y'all sending me these bird emojis. I love it. I need everybody to type the word balance. Balance. There has to be a balance on our journey because I don't believe that it's God's will for me to sacrifice my family to quench this desire that's in me to do something great. I just don't believe that. Maybe you disagree with me. If you do, tell me. But there has to be balance, and not even balance. I think another word is priorities. I know that's one thing that my wife says. She doesn't like to use the word balance. She says the word priorities because when you try to balance stuff, it's not always going to be perfect, but you at least need to have the right priorities. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to type balance. Can y'all type priorities? At least we're going to get some more comments. Scratch balance. Look, because priorities understands that everything isn't going to be balanced perfectly, but I at least make sure that my priorities are intact to where no matter what I'm trying to do, my family's going to be good.
Yeah.
We are afraid. Can you elaborate on that, Kristen? Our sister, Kristen, she said we are afraid of balance. Elaborate that on the comment section. I would love to have a conversation about that. We are afraid of balance. Bring that up for me. So we're getting ready to kind of go into chapter 5. So Marvin, if you have not already pressed the link, Marvin, go ahead and press that link, brother. You'll be behind the stage and they'll bring you on when we need to. But Marvin, go ahead and get in place as we get ready for chapter 5. But what are your closing? They took my sis off. We were transitioning. Yeah, we went off yet, sis. You said, well, forget it then. I'm gone. Forget it. Y'all want to do chapter 5? Do chapter 5 without me.
I'll meet y'all in chapter 5.
No, but because of that, we want to keep going here. Give us your final thoughts on chapter number 4. Give us your final thoughts.
All right, my final thoughts on chapter number 4 is, like we said, get your priorities together. I'm really big just in this season on stewardship and stewarding our time wisely and determining not necessarily what's important for us, although that is important, but from a spiritual perspective, this is my personal take on it, but what's important to God. and what is it that he wants us focused on. So I think this was an excellent chapter. I think it definitely put things in perspective as far as how we define how we spend our time, and if anything, I think it definitely just made me focus more on some of those big dreams, those
Yeah.
huge which seem unattainable dreams, but I serve a big God, so I can have the big dreams.
Listen, I got big dreams too, and my dreams were so close to reality. And then somebody stopped pressing the share button because our numbers they took a little dip. I don't know what happened. I don't know if the football game just randomly came on. I need everybody to press the share button, and I need you to tell my sis thank you so much
Thank
for
you
joining
for having
us.
me. It was a pleasure.
Hopefully you join us the rest of the way, and we're getting ready to go into chapter number 5. Let's see here. It says we know what is a priority or what's important, yet we push our priority to the side because we have this mentality of I have time. I like that. And that really goes into what we were discussing in chapter 4, that we do not have a whole bunch of time. I'm excited about, that was 4. I'm excited. Let's go to 5, chapter number 5. Self-reliance. Let's go ahead and bring our guest on for chapter number 5. We was doing good. We was at our numbers were looking great. Maybe, you know what? I know what happened. Everybody logged off real quick because they had to go get their book, and they're coming back on. That's exactly what happened. So as Marvin is getting ready to come on and join us, there he is. What's up, my brother?
What's going on, bro?
Man, I'm well. First, let's start with, how are you doing, man? How are you doing?
Look, I'm sitting here. I'm sporting my quarantine haircut.
We both are. We both are.
Brother, we got to call all the intercessors, prayer warriors, dig up Mother Boy, dig up Mother, everybody, and tell them you got to blow this thing away. I need my bumper down.
I love it. I love it. I love it. My sister Crystal, I want to make sure I get your comment because you're in our YouTube sanctuary. It says, I definitely struggle with time management and prioritizing what's important to me versus what's important to my purpose. That's good. And I think we got the man on the screen right now that can help us answer that question as we transition into chapter number 5. Marvin, I want to just because I know you and I know what you're doing, I'm extremely blown away by what you're doing, even what you did at YLC last year from the political standpoint, what I see you doing now in the political arena with what you're pushing as the next mayor of Baltimore. And that's why I wanted you to come on to discuss chapter 5, because chapter 5 is all about having that confidence that you can complete the quest or you can complete the goal, even if other people don't think you can.
Yeah.
So I want to read these first 2 quotes in chapter number 5 and then kind of turn it over to you to give me your thoughts on these 2 quotes. It says, the most courageous act is to think for yourself. The second quote says, not everyone needs to believe in your dream, but you definitely do. Give me your thoughts on those 2 quotes here to open up chapter number 5.
Look, I think that Coco Chanel is probably one of the most prolific prophets that never really got her prophetic license. Because the reality of it is a lot of people often get stuck in what people think about them or how people view them. And one of the things that I've always challenged people is that you don't have to be locked in only about what people think about you, because you have normally an access to something that they can't see, which is that when you have a level of spiritual discernment, when you have a level of a lifestyle of prayer, when you have a level of access right to whom you serve, there legitimately is a purview into your tomorrow that they cannot see. And so therefore, if you get locked into what people are seeing today and yesterday, of course, they're always going to have that perspective about you. But when you have a purview into your tomorrow, you're always going to have a level of self-reliance and a level of belief that people can't understand.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So there are people who are building for tomorrow that you can't see, but you've got to be okay with the fact that I already have an understanding of my tomorrow. Right. So I'm not concerned about what you think about me now. And because if you think about me in a certain way or limelight, that's okay, because you're looking through the lens of what you can see. But I have access to my tomorrow. And so while I'm grinding, while I'm building, while I'm preparing, I'm writing my book, I'm getting my business plan, I'm doing all of these things, and people are trying to figure you out, they don't have access to what you see. You've got to believe in you. One of the greatest things that I've always said growing up was the fact that I've never been concerned about you believing in me, because I believe in me. And I don't believe in me because I've got this great level of confidence that just came out of nowhere. It comes from a fact that I've got a level of a prayer life and a download that essentially allows me to understand what my tomorrow going to look like.
Preach, Marvin, preach.
So that's why I love building. I love chapter 5, bro, because it really helps people set themselves up for a self-reliance on what you know. How do you fight? How do you fight with what you know, and more importantly, what's down on the inside of you? Because people are only going to provide you and assess you with what they can externally see. Mm-hmm. But what you externally see is not the sum total of me.
What you externally see is not the sum total of me.
It's never been.
Now let's because everything you're saying is 100% true. Yeah. But I want to deal with our sister on the screen here, and she's one of many, because many people, as she said, that's what I struggle with, believing in myself. So we know that we need ourselves. We know that as long as we believe we can do it, we're good. But how do we get to that place of belief in self? How do we get to the place to where we first, you say, you know what? I have confidence in who I am and in who God has created me to be. How do we get to that place?
Can I tell you that one of the greatest things that has kind of sent me into the trajectory of my life is getting into a place, and I know people might categorize this as you being deep or you having a level of a spiritual life. I don't really care about how you categorize it, but the point of the statement is, I've learned how to accept and reflect how God sees me. I tell my friends all of the time, look, I operate in the world of kind of like politics and business and those factors of life. And one of my biggest selling points about being connected to God is not really rooted in the things that we might have grew up in, kind of in our charismatic Pentecostal roots, right? That there is something that is highly spiritual about being able to reflect a level of purpose that other people can't tap into because they have to go through so many mediums to get there.
Wow.
So I've got to find a mentor. I've got to find, the next it thing. I've got to figure out how there's so many medium things that you got to be able to do to get there. But here, because you've got direct access to God, you're able to reflect Him right inside of you into the earth. And so it's not just about being deep. That's the game. Like that, the people are always trying to figure out, well, what's the thing that I can really tap into? What's the new self-help book? How am I going? What's the download? Give me? I need the thing that's going to get me to my next. And what I'm telling you is that the easiest route there in figuring out who you are and being able to be comfortable with who you are is by being one with a level of access to Him to help you be solidified with who you are. Because if you know who He is, then you understand it.
I think that's amazing. And it's being and releasing yourself to believe what God says about you.
That's it.
Let me say that again. You have to release yourself to believe what God has said about you. The issue is, I think a lot of times we have, and I think I talked about this before, we have the wrong definition of humility. And we think that humility, y'all need to press share because this is about to get good. We think humility is denying who God said we are.
That's right.
We think humility is trying to act like we're just a nobody, trying to tell somebody about. No. God didn't say I'm a nobody.
No.
We have to understand humility is knowing who I am, confidently understanding who I am, and being assured that the only reason I am who I am is because of who God is.
That's right.
So I want to release everybody on here to believe in yourself, not from an arrogant or a cocky perspective, but to understand that I know I'm special, I know I'm gifted, I know I'm called, I know I'm anointed, and it's only because of the grace of God. I want everybody in this book club to quit walking around with your head down, because to know that if God said you the head and not the tail, you can walk around like you the head and not the tail. If God said that you're blessed in the city, you're blessed in the field, you're blessed when you come, you're blessed when you go, you have to understand no matter where you are on this earth, you are blessed. And we have to change our definition of what humility is and understand that if my confidence offends you, you need to get out of my circle.
Ain't nothing I can do.
Somebody should put that. If my confidence offends you, you should probably get out of my circle, because I'm too grown to act like I'm a baby.
And look, I love chapter 5. One of the quotes that I highlighted that kind of it sent me almost. It made me feel like I was at Praise Power 99. Brother was that he said easy projects aren't quests; they're holidays from real life. That anything that seems like that you are going to be locked in easy. Remember, there is a difference from easy and stability. We're not talking about people who are trying to set foundation, trying to get themselves into a level of lifestyle. I'm talking about those people who have done everything that they can do to be on a pathway to easy. There is something about your journey being difficult. There's something about a level of long suffering that creates patience that helps you for your tomorrow, right? Yeah. That in chapter 5, what he's trying to build is that in rejection, in what people think about you on a daily, right? Yeah. How people see you, that through that rejection, you're building your process to now come into your outcome.
Let's stay there. Let's stay there, because in chapter 5, he deals with rejection therapy. Yeah. Rejection therapy. And now I'll be honest with you, this is a great book. I'm loving it. There's some exercises that I think are crazy. Like the whole about dropping your coffee mug on your floor. I'm not doing that. I got kids. I don't want nobody cutting their hands. But this rejection therapy, I'm going to add this to my life, because I'll be honest. Let me be honest. One thing that I do not want to ever do is embarrass myself. Yeah. So there's some things that I don't try or that I don't attempt, because I'm like, are you embarrassing me? That's like, right. I would love to go ice skating. I've never gone ice skating because I'm scared of falling on my behind, and everybody's gonna be laughing at me. Maybe I'm gonna have a breakthrough this year. I'm gonna go ice skate. that's gonna be my rejection therapy. But I like this rejection therapy because it gets you to a point where you're asking for things that realistically they're probably going to say no to, but it helps you. It helps you deal with being. So I'm gonna throw to you, man. How do we deal with rejection on our quest, on our journey to purpose? Because, like you said, not everybody can see what we see. So how do we get with? Because sometimes we don't even want to share our dreams to other people, because they're going to reject. You can't do that. You didn't even go to school. You don't got enough money. You should be happy just to be where you are. So how do we deal with this rejection on the journey to our purpose?
Can I tell you that the final paragraph in the last sentence is what solidifies this book for me. And it helps people understand the power of rejection, which is that in experiment, basically what you're talking about is that a young man, he's a YouTube star. He's basically doing all of these projects, and his literal attempt is to make sure that he gets rejected. What he learns in the rejection is that it is not about the result that you get. So if I agree, if I disagree, if I accept the challenge, if I don't accept the challenge, that's not the lesson. The lesson is learning how to be rejected to build up your own confidence. Because in rejection, you understand how to build past your own fault and the no. My no can't be the thing that locks me out of my own success. If that be the case, then we don't have a cure to cancer. We don't have a cure to HIV. We don't have a cure to COVID. There are people that are on this live right now who are trying to figure out how they're going to get to their destined purpose place. And they are more concerned about the no than the fact of what they've already been told. That's why you gotta believe in you. Because if you don't believe in you, you're going to be more concerned about the no than what you've been told.
You're talking to people who are connected to individuals who need to hear this. So once again, I'm telling you, press that share button. We don't want to discourage you and you by yourself going, on. We want to connect, encourage everybody that's connected to you. But I want to take a turn. I want to adjust a little bit here, because something that I read in chapter 5, it was good, but it was frustrating. It's when the author, Chris, he kind of deals with individuals who are blind and what they have to go through. He says, for some reason, for someone who has visited every country in the world, I have a terrible sense of direction. I'm not legally blind like Julie, but almost everywhere I go, I get lost at least once. And this includes my own city, which is conveniently laid out on a grid. This is the part that I want to talk to you about. Yet even with my constant ability to forget which way I turned, I love heading out for a long run in a new country without a map or phone. Mm-hmm. And when he said that, I wrote in my piece of paper, the Black Quest. Mm-hmm. The Black Quest. The reason why I wrote that is because this individual has the privilege of running where he wants to run and not have to worry about being a threat, being looked at as people seeing you being in fear, and dealing with the story that we heard this week with the young man who was on a jog. Yeah. And 2 cowards took his life. Yeah. And I began to think about, is there a different quest for Black people? Yeah. Is there a different set of challenges? Now, the author, he wasn't saying this in a negative way. He wasn't saying this. This book was written, I believe, in 2016. So he was not making, but he was saying that I love just walking around and taking a jog and running around, neighborhoods where I don't know. I don't have that privilege. Yeah. You don't have that privilege. Yeah. We saw that displayed this week. So as it relates to the Black Quest, there's a different layer of obstacles and hurdles and challenges that we have to deal with. So my question to you, being a Black man who has successfully and is successfully navigating the political arena, navigating being connected to highly influential people, how do we stay focused when we look at some of our other brothers and sisters who don't have to deal with the challenges that we have to face as Black people?
Look, there is no doubt that there are structural inequalities that as African Americans that we daily have to jump to be able to get to our tomorrow. right? I love kind of the experience of our forefathers and foremothers, because they are really the progenitors of understanding rejection like nobody else.
Wow.
Imagine understanding and being connected to a God that said that you're the head and not the tail, right? You're the lender, not the borrower, right? That you are above and not beneath, but you're shackled.
Mm.
Right.
Wow.
There is something so hyper spiritual about being in a bound place, but having a God tell you that you're going to be somebody.
Wow.
And in order for us to be able to really sit in a place of purpose, to be able to really sit in the place of where we know our God purpose is, you really do have to be confident, right? And not allow outside forces to drive you from what you know. And I know
That's good.
easier.
Say it again. Do not allow outside
You
forces to
cannot,
drive you away
you
from what.
can,
That's good.
you cannot allow the outside forces to drive you from what you know. That's why the writer puts so much emphasis on you believing in what you know and what you've been told, because the moment that you allow outside influences to determine what you know, you have now just subjected yourself to what they want you to be instead of what God called you to be.
Woo! I'm gonna have to give you offering to that. Go ahead.
But I deal with every day sitting in boardrooms filled with men who are much older than me, who are much wider than me, who have a different level of experience because of access, right? We talk about we talk about all of the different things in preferred when we in being African American, right? There are certain things that I will never have: legacy, access to money that gives them legs up beyond anything I could ever imagine. But the thing that keeps me rooted every day in this quest is I know what I was told. I know I absolutely know who I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And if I operate outside of that context, then I'm not in my God self. I have to be everything that God called me to be. That goes back to your early comment about the fact that this is not arrogance. See, arrogance is when you allow your ambition and when you allow everything that you already have come into and believe that it's your own doing.
Yeah.
Arrogance. Yeah. I know that Marvin Matthew James II could never. There was nothing about me that could ever get into this place. Here is what I do know is that a connected Marvin Matthew James to a God self could reach this. Yeah. That's what creates this. I never ever get into a place of where I become arrogant. If God takes his hand off of me, I am a nobody.
Man, I think you nailed you nailed it on the head. You nailed it on the head. It's being connected to what you heard. And being so connected to what you heard that you don't let go of it until it's what you see.
That's all you can do.
I may have got my sermon for, well, you know, everything closed, so I ain't preaching nothing. Just got mad all over again. Anyway, we're going to get ready to transition to chapter 6. Give me your final thoughts on chapter number 5. You've been a huge blessing. My sis earlier has been a huge blessing. I need everybody tuned in right now to press that share button. We're getting to the tail end of our time together. The comments have been amazing. You guys are engaged. This is great. So Marvin, give me your final kind of thought or your final nugget or the last word you want to leave with the people as it relates to chapter number 5 and self-reliance.
Listen, here are my final words, Elder Pollard, which is that everyone is on a journey. Chapter 5 starts with the second section of the book being titled The Journey.
Yeah.
And because of the hyper sensitive generation that we live in, we are all about the success. We are all about the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
But there is something so prestigious in the journey that if you get lost in trying to figure out whether or not I'm going to have the house, whether or not I'm going to have the car, whether or not I'm going to have the whatever, you are going to miss out on the journey. There is power in the process. Don't get lost in what they say. Don't get lost in what they think about you. Your tomorrow is too important, and believe in yourself.
Brother, I appreciate you. I thank you so much. We're going to have to bring you back. And thank you, man. Y'all show Marvin some love. He came on here and killed it for chapter number 5. Listen, as we have our little intermission here, we're going to go ahead and bring my brother Tim on. We're going to go to chapter number 6. We went a little long last week. Looks like we're going to go a little long today, trying to keep these things within about an hour's time. But, man, leaders and readers, and we get into this book, and it starts talking and getting good. So we're going to bring in our final guest at this time as we get ready to discuss chapter number 6. Tim!
Hey, what's up, man?
You're not outside today.
No, man, y'all messed me up, man. I'm sitting here in my little music room, and I had to hit a couple chords, man, because, man, woo, chapter 5, yes, sir. Good stuff.
Man, it was a highlight. You. Everybody in the comment section, do me a favor. Just type, I believe in me. I think that's one of the biggest. I don't care who doubts you. I don't care who thinks you can't. I don't care who doubts your resume, who doubts your background. I don't care how many people in your family have not yet gone to college, have not yet started a business. You have to have such a confidence in who God said that you are, that no matter what's going on around you got confidence that everything God showed me is going to manifest in my life. I want to speak right now to the faith of every person that is tuned in right now. No matter how crazy the dream is, no matter how big it is, no matter what people say you can or you cannot do, we serve a God who can do anything. One thing he cannot do is he cannot fail. Do not allow the outside circumstances to allow the faith on the inside of you to diminish, because the just shall live by faith. And faith is the substance of things hoped for. It's the evidence of things you can't see. You gotta have enough faith in what you can't see until you see it.
Come on,
man.
Yeah.
All right.
You sound like you about ready to preach, man.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
You look.
Chapter 6 is I need everybody watching to press the share button. We're going to end on a high note once again, because we got the closer with us. He was with us last week. We brought him back for a reason. Chapter 6 is everyday adventure. We're going to try to get through chapter 6 in about 10 to 15 minutes. Give me your thoughts on chapter 6. Let's start there. Give me some of your notes, some things that stood out to you as it relates to chapter number 6.
6, man, I think 6 really tied some things in for me. So actually, some of the questions even last week, because I know we kind of talked a little bit about, hey, some of this stuff for these questions is out there. I can't, I got a family, I got, all these responsibilities. I think chapter 6 kind of answered some of those questions we were talking about. And so I like the initial quote. I mean, these quotes have been knocking it out of the park for me.
They've been great, man. They've been great.
Yeah, this quote that says, do one thing every day that scares you. Man, immediately what comes to mind for me is you have to be willing to break that cycle, that routine of just kind of doing, life as normal. And it's easy to get tied into that web of just, hey, I got to go to work, got to take care of the kids, got to do this, got to do that you miss those opportunities to make that leap. It also makes me think, man, about the disciples, think of how crazy it had to have been. Here they are minding their business, on this boat, and this man comes along and tells them, no, follow me. Like, man, that had to be terrifying, to drop everything that they knew and say, I'm going to pursue this quest with this man I don't even know. And so I really like the initial quote that we have here at the beginning. And then there's another section here in the beginning I like. He says, if you want to make every day an adventure, all you have to do is prioritize. And you said that word earlier. You were talking about the difference between balance and prioritize. And I think that's important. Man, I'll be honest, Lewis, I struggle with that, because for me, you can get so caught up in, just like I said, doing the life stuff that you fail to take time to prioritize and say, you know what? No, I've got to read this book. No, I actually have to write out these dreams that I've been having. And I'm guilty of that, of being so caught up in the everyday life stuff that you just you don't prioritize. And then he says,
I think that's great. I think that's great because me and you, one thing that we do have in common is the fact that we're both married. And last week we were talking about that, balancing the responsibility. But I think this chapter kind of even pushes us to kind of get. So here's the thought I had, Tim. It was balancing my responsibility, but not being bound by my responsibility.
Ooh, that's good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And being creative to a point where I can handle my responsibilities and still go after this big, whether the big quest or the big journey that I believe God has for me. And I think that's illustrated starting off with Sasha.
Yep. I was just going to say that. Yeah.
She has this desire to travel.
Right.
But unlike the bird lady, man, did you read, man? That bird lady got on my nerves.
She was tripping. I agree with my sister. Said that earlier. Man, this lady was tripping. She got
so you gonna get a divorce and lose your children because you looking at birds.
Right, looking at birds. Right.
Anyway, but Sasha has a desire to travel.
Right.
But she has a young child who has the same name as my youngest daughter's name, and she has a husband.
Right.
So what she does is she says, you know what? I can't do that. But to still fulfill my quest, I'm going to make some adjustments in it to where I can't travel, but I'm going to bring traveling to me to where she begins to have these different cuisines that she cooks. So talk about adjusting kind of your end goal to make sure that your responsibilities are still taken care of.
Absolutely. And this was the perfect example because she takes, like you kind of mentioned, what she already, knows and kind of has, because they talked about her culinary degree and stuff like that. So she kind of fuses the two, her love for travel and this culinary love, and puts them together. And what I love about it is it incorporates her family as well. It's not like she's just like, I'm on this individual thing, I'm going to do it by myself. And that's one thing for myself is I found the most enjoyable moments when I've been able to find a space that includes not just myself, but my entire family. Because I'm not just one person. You know what I'm saying? I have a family, I have my beautiful wife. And when we do things together, I found that we've been able to go much further. It brings a different perspective even to the journey. It's not just my perspective now. I got her perspective. I got my kids' perspective. And all of that ties into this huge pot. And for me, it makes me think of like a pot of gumbo, right? You got all these elements that add into it. But if you had gumbo with just shrimp, it wouldn't be gumbo, right? It would just be shrimp soup or something. But the point that I'm making is she takes what she already has, she fuses it together, and it doesn't, to some degree, jeopardize what she already kind of has going on. I like he says here in the book too that her husband Keith, he agreed and was supportive. Yeah. I like that point. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because sometimes you can, try and venture off into a quest or do something that doesn't really mesh well for your house or for what you have going on. I like the fact that he highlights he was supportive, and that really kind of took it to another level. But there's some more highlights in here, man, that I think just were phenomenal.
Even in that, one thing I want to highlight is on page number 91. And I don't think that they meant it for this. But just kind of having the eyes and the way that I see things that stuck out to me. Verse 90. You can tell.
You ready to preach, man?
Page 90. My apologies. It says, after Sasha finished the A countries and moved on to the B's, she was sitting one day at her dining room table, thumbing through cookbooks in search of what to make for Bulgaria. A knock sounded at the door, and a young man appeared who was selling children's books for a summer job. The young man had an accent and happened to be from Bulgaria. Sasha invited him in and quizzed him on the recipes she was studying. So what I put in my notes was, quest come with divine help.
Come on, that's good, man. Yep.
She's sitting there.
Right.
I need everybody to press the share button real quick because I want to release this. And I want to encourage everybody that you're connected with. She's sitting there.
That's a great
trying to figure out.
He's stuck. Right.
What to cook. She's stuck.
Right.
And as she's stuck, all of a sudden she hears a knock at the door. She goes to the door just to see who it is, and it's a young man who is there and has the answer that she needs to assist her in her. It built my. It wasn't for the purpose, but it built my faith. That quest, my journey, it comes with divine help. Yeah. And right when I get to a place where I feel stuck, right when I get to a place where I feel like I don't know what to do or how I'm going to do this, all I got to do is sit back and wait for somebody to knock on my door.
That's encouragement.
Not naturally, figuratively speaking. But say, you know what, God, on this quest, you're going to send help for the times where I feel like I don't know what to do. What do you feel about that?
Oh, you're spot on, man, because I can look back and reflect in my own life in those spaces where I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do next. I don't know what the next step is. But somehow, some way, God will send somebody and it'll be just the right person, just the right time. I'm in just the right place. And it's exactly what I need. I think that right there, I'm glad you brought that point out because I remember reading that as well. And I was just like, man, that's really good stuff. Is God knows how to put that right a divine appointment in place at the right time. Yeah. And I think for even those that are online right now, it's easy sometimes to lose hope, to feel like, you know what, this is the end of my quest, end of my journey. But I just, man, as we're talking about this, I want to encourage somebody, like, don't quit, don't give in, because there are divine appointments set up for you. You just got to stay the course and watch what God does. So, man, that's good. This is
I want to hit on literally the last page of chapter 6, which talks about everyone is busy.
Yeah.
And that's an excuse that I'm sure you've heard. I know I've heard. I'm sure our listeners have heard. I can't do this because I'm busy. It says everyone is busy, yet we all have access to the same amount of time. Yeah. There are two popular theories of change making. Either you can make small and incremental changes, mix it up, or you can do it all at one time. Either of these options can work, but there's no third theory. There's not another option. It's A or B.
You have to do something, right? You must do something, right?
But there's no third theory of waiting for change to knock on your door and announce its arrival. You must do something. The sooner, the better. As we get ready to close our time together, like I said, we want to keep it around an hour. I want you to speak to individuals who want to tackle this journey, who want to tackle this quest, who want to tackle this big idea, but they think that they're too busy. What would you say to them?
What I would say, man, is just like kind of the author was talking about. You have to do something. You have to implement in your daily routine a way to break the cycle, because it's so easy to stay stuck in the mundane, to stay stuck in that same way of doing things, and it's actually even enticing, especially given our Western culture that, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're required to do. Mm-hmm. But I just believe that, like you said, talking about coming from a faith-based background, that we have to allow space for God to intercept our lives and take us to journeys and places that we've never been. But we can't do that if we have, all these other things that are set in place. And so I would say you have to get over the fear that, hey, if I get away from this, I'll lose myself, or I won't be able to continue to be the great man or woman that I'm supposed to be for my family or for my significant other. It is a space where we have to learn that God puts these things in place. He will implement things, but you have to give him that space. And I'm excited about the end of this, like you said, because you have to do something. You can't just stay in that same place. And what'll happen is you'll regret it. You'll be like, man, you know what, I should have. Don't let that be you. We're in an incredible time, an incredible season right now. allow yourself the space. And you mentioned it earlier about the dropping of the cup. Like he kind of used that as an example. Oh, drop the cup kind of thing. I agree with you. I can't just drop the cup. I got kids. I don't want anybody to cut their foot. But for me, that little example showed that you have to have, I forget how he quoted it, but you have to have I want to say the word is not coming to mind. It's like bravery to actually just do something different, break the cycle. And so I encourage you, whoever you are that's on today, if you're checked in, you're hearing what we're talking about, break the cycle, man. Do that thing that you've had a dream for.
And
do
even
that thing
when he
that God's
talks
put on
about
your
the
heart.
fact that in breaking that cycle, in that programming, he talks about it just takes a moment of strength.
That's what it is. There it is. Right.
You got to have just that moment of strength. Right. I need you to have some strength and press share. We're getting right in. I need you to have some strength and press share. That moment of strength is all that's needed to break the programming, programming. Man, it's my prayer, it's my hope that this upcoming week, these next 7 days, that as we come back next Saturday to discuss chapters 7, I think we're gonna hold up. Let me see. I was gonna say 7. How many chapters do we have total?
I think we
17. So if we do next week, we have next week we're gonna do 7, 8, 9. We're gonna do 7 through 10 next week. We're gonna do 4 chapters next week, 7 through 10.
Sounds good.
It's my hope, it's my prayer that when we return, that we're gonna be able to give some progress, some progress notes, that we were able to have that moment of strength in different areas of our life, so that we can break the programming in the things that we are doing. So man, I'm gonna give you like 30 seconds to give us a final remark, and then I'm gonna close this out. So go ahead, man.
Oh, just thankful to be on, and man, this has been encouraging. I just want to say personally, it's really challenged me. It's really stretched just my processing and everything for where we're headed. God's doing some things in our lives, and I'm telling you, this has been a blessing, man. It's been a godsend. Thank you guys for the opportunity, just being checked in with what YLC is doing, and I love my YLC family. Love you guys, man. But yeah, this chapter, take that step. Take that. I don't know who it is. I don't know who it's for. Take that step, man. I'm telling you. We'll come back and you'll be like, man, well, I believe, I don't know if we'll have to do this, but man, we might have some testimonies from just, going through this. Seriously. Because man, it's some powerful stuff, good content, good, rich content in this reading. If you haven't started reading, man, y'all missing out.
Awesome. I appreciate you, bro. You stay safe, man.
Yes, sir.
Listen, guys, it's been it's week 2. It's been another great week. And I'm excited about everybody who has decided to go on this journey with us in reading The Happiness of Pursuit. It's been great. Our numbers have been great. They're even getting better. And I just want to encourage everybody, man, on your quest, on your journey, there is going to be a moment of divine help. That's even my prayer for you guys this week, man, as you're going on your journey, going on your quest. Things are getting ready to reopen in certain states and certain places. Certain places have already opened up. But as you're on this quest, as you're on this journey, that God is going to send you some divine help to assist you, like we saw in chapter number 6. Next week, we're going to do 4 chapters, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We're going to do 4 chapters next week, and I am excited about it. Once again, thank you so much to my brother and friend, Elder Mark Moore Jr., for giving me this platform and this opportunity, and to my YLC family. I love you. I can't wait to see y'all at the praise break in August, and we will holler at you all later. Have a good one. Be safe.